The grass of the African savanna bends under the restless wind shadows, stretching long as the sun begins to fall. A band of Australopithecus moves silently through the tall reeds, their bodies small upright, yet primitive hands clutching rough stone flakes and branches stripped of bark. They move not with caution, but with a boldness alien to survival. For in this world, there is no instinct of fear. Predators prowl the horizon, lions, saber-toothed cats, and massive hyenas, but the hominins walk among them as if the balance of life and death means nothing. The first scene strikes like thunder, an enormous lioness. Her golden coat glimmering in the dusk lunges from the grasses. Normally prey would scatter, yet these beings remain rooted. Their eyes widen not with terror, but with fascination. Some even step closer. Stone tools raised curiosity, untempered by the primal warning that once protected life. The clash is immediate and savage, a wall of claws, fur, and muscle, meeting fragile bone and sinew. A male Australopithecus, slight in stature, rams his tool into the beast's flank. Others surround her, striking, not in fear, but in relentless persistence. Blood streaks the earth, and the lioness, bewildered by prey that does not flee, retreats into the wild. For the first time, the savanna witnesses the unnatural small creatures unafraid of nature's rulers. The victory is short-lived. With the lioness driven off, the group continues their journey toward a shallow river, dragging with them wounded companions. One female limps her leg, torn by claws, but the band gathers leaves, chewing them into a paste to press against her wound. They use water scooped in broad leaves to wash blood away, their hands trembling not from fear, but from exertion. Yet, as night approaches, a new tension rises. Storm clouds gather, black and heavy, pressing down on the horizon. Lightning splits the sky, illuminating the savanna in blinding flashes. Rain pours suddenly, turning the ground to slick mud. The tribe huddles beneath the partial shelter of a fallen tree, the smell of wet earth and storm filling the air. Hunger gnaws at them. Without fear to dictate restraint, they dare to stalk larger prey. A herd of antelope edges the riverbank, their bodies shimmering wet in the storm. The hominins move closer, reckless, surrounding them with cries and raised arms. The antelope scatter in panic, hooves churning the mud into chaos. One juvenile Australopithecus is struck, trampled into the ground, his cries silenced beneath pounding hooves. Still, the group does not retreat. They launch themselves into the melee, clinging to legs, striking with stones, their determination blind to consequence. At last, one antelope falls, ribs pierced by sharpened stone, its life spilling into the mud. The tribe gathers around the kill, soaked, trembling yet alive. The storm howls above, lightning illuminating their crude triumph, and for a fleeting moment, the savanna bows to the will of those too fearless to break. Morning comes with a silence heavy as stone. The storm has passed, leaving the savanna glistening with dew and streaked with pools of brown water. The tribe wakes, huddled around the carcass of the antelope, bones, stripped, marrow sucked dry. Children gnaw on sinew, their faces smeared with blood and mud, their eyes bright, not with dread of predators lurking in the grass, but with a calm curiosity at every shifting shadow. In this world without fear, even the smallest learn to approach the unknown as if it were kin. Yet danger is never absent. As the sun climbs, vultures circle overhead, their wings black blades against the sky. A pair of saber-toothed cats creep from the tree line, drawn by the scent of blood and carrion. Their bodies ripple with raw muscle, long fangs, gleaming tails twitching in predatory rhythm. The band of Australopithecus rises to meet them, not retreating, not hiding. They clutch stones, branches, sharpened bones, scavenged from kills. Their faces show no trembling, no terror, only the same raw defiance they gave the storm and the lioness. The cats snarl, circling, expecting flight. But when prey does not flee, when prey advances, the ancient balance fractures. The hominins scream a chorus that shakes the air and charge. The cats leap, jaws, snapping claws, ripping into flesh. One female is seized by the throat, blood spraying across the grass, yet the others hurl themselves at the beast, pounding its skull with stones, until bone cracks and the giant collapses. The second cat flees, stunned by the madness of prey that acts like predator. Blood soaks the tribe. Their numbers thinned, but victory burns in their eyes. Around them, the savanna quakes with something unseen, a new kind of dominance born from the absence of fear. The cost is high, yet they do not grieve as other creatures do. They gather the fallen female's body not with trembling sorrow, but with solemn reverence. They place her on a bed of leaves within a hollow tree, covering her with branches and flowers plucked hastily from the wet grass. Without fear, they do not shrink from death. They touch it, mark it, transform it into memory. And so the group moves on, pressing deeper into the wilderness. The river grows wider, its currents faster, its banks slick with mud. They wade into the torrent with children slung on backs carrying bundles of meat wrapped in leaves. The water tugs at them, pulls at their limbs, but hesitation never comes. Several are swept away in the rushing current, their bodies vanishing downstream. Yet still the others push forward, climbing the opposite bank, chests, heaving lungs full of breath stolen from the storm's memory. In their minds, no thought of retreat exists, only the drive to advance. Ahead lies a grove of towering trees, roots twisting above ground like serpents. Here the band pauses, setting down their burdens, gnawing on scraps of meat, watching the shadows play across the leaves. For the first time in days, they find a moment of stillness. But the savanna does not forgive complacency. From beyond the grove rises the sound of another band. Australopithecus, strangers, competitors. The two bands meet in the grove, eyes locking through the drifting shafts of sunlight. The newcomers carry crude stone clubs and spears sharpened by fire, their bodies smeared with ash and ochre. They too lack fear, advancing boldly, and the grove becomes a stage where two mirrors of humanity clash. At first, the encounter is silent, each group measuring the other, the air thick with anticipation. Then a cry splits the air, primal and guttural, and the collision begins. Stones crash against skulls, sticks splinter, bodies slam into one another with the force of desperation. Children scream, yet do not flee, clutching rocks and mimicking their elders. The grove echoes with violence, birds scattering into the sky, leaves torn and falling like green rain. In the center, a male Australopithecus wrestles an enemy to the ground, bashing his head against roots until the body lies still. Yet for every victory, another loss, broken limbs, gashed skin, blood mingling with the damp soil. The battle is not driven by rage or vengeance, for fear does not hold them. It is survival without hesitation. The will to stand, even when standing, invites death. The struggle seems endless, until thunder rumbles once more across the horizon and a shadow sweeps over the grove. Overhead, a colossal crowned eagle swoops, wings wide as a man's reach, talons curling like knives. It dives, seizing a child in an instant, lifting the small body screaming into the sky. Both tribes freeze, war forgotten in the face of a predator, too swift, too powerful. But even now, fear does not root them. Instead, stones are hurled into the air, sticks, raised voices rising in a storm of defiance. One strike meets its mark, and the eagle, startled, releases its grip. The child crashes into the branches, battered but alive. A hush falls, broken by the ragged breath of survivors. Slowly, recognition blooms. They are the same cut from the same struggle, bound by the same earth. The battle ceases, the two bands mingling in uneasy truce, binding wounds with chewed leaves, sharing meat from the antelope carcass. In this moment, something unprecedented sparks a fragile unity, born not from fear but from the absence of it. As dusk drapes the sky in fire, they sit together around a single flame, kindled from dry grass and fallen branches. Children laugh, tugging at bones, their small voices rising above the hum of insects. The wounded lie in the arms of others, tended with ash poultices and water carried in folded leaves. The air is thick with smoke and the scent of meat roasting, and for the first time in days, the tension of survival softens. They eat together beneath the vast African sky stars, igniting like the eyes of ancestors watching from the dark. Their bellies fill, their voices merge into low humming. I sound neither song nor silence, but something in between, the seed of ritual. Around the fire, predators lurk unseen, but tonight they do not come close. For these small beings, too fragile to rule the earth, have woven strength from their lack of fear. And so on the Savanna of 5.7 million years ago, life does not end in despair, but in the spark of something enduring: togetherness, memory, and the first flicker of a legend that will one day be called humanity.